Hello, Year 6. So I did say on one of the Big Read videos, or no, it was on yesterday's English video, in fact, that today's would be quite short. And it really is, because really now it's over to you for your hot write, and that needs to obviously be done independently. The only thing I wanted to show you was a reminder, and you had these printed off for you, and they were in your pack for the very first cold write that you did. And you will be using these again. So even though you haven't got one printed out, you might want to write it in. It would probably be beneficial. So I think that would be a good idea to write it in at the top before you begin your hot write, or to at least write it somewhere that you can tick off as you go. But these are all the things that should be included. Now, some of you didn't know how to do some of these the first time we did the cold write. However, by now, everybody, if you've followed the lessons and done them, you'll all know how to do all of these things. So your newspaper report should have a headline. It should contain an introduction/explanatory paragraph that contains the 5 W's. You should have a formal tone throughout. You should use at least a couple of examples where you have used the past progressive tense. It should contain quotes that have been punctuated accurately, just like direct speech. It should have modal verbs. They are things like would, should, could, might. And it should contain accurate paragraphing. You should be checking that you're doing that and ticking those off as you go through to make sure that you are, just like we will then check through when we mark them or when we go over to give you some feedback. Say mark them. Obviously, we can't mark them in its usual sense at the moment. A reminder, you are writing a newspaper report about an asteroid falling on Elliot's cowshed, just like happens in the story of Who Lets the Gods Out. That's really all I can say to you, and that's all I'm going to say because it is your independent piece of writing. It's your chance to show that you have improved and developed from the cold write through the 3 weeks of learning, and that you can now put into practice the things you have learnt to show that there is improvement and there is learning between cold write and the hot write. So do make sure you think about this carefully. There is not a video now for English for the rest of this week. Tomorrow, you are also continuing your hot write, and Friday I would like you to then type up or do a neat write-up of that. What you should be doing with this time is, firstly, you should be writing your first draft. You should then be going over that with your blue for review or whatever you can do at home. If you don't have a blue pen, that's fine, but you should be redrafting, correcting mistakes, making sure it's the very best it can be, making sure that all of those things are ticked off, that your punctuation is accurate, that your handwriting is neat. Handwriting, unsurprisingly, is slipping a little bit from home. Obviously, I won't mention names, but there are several of you that I've said this to in comments that I've sent back when we've been doing our writing. So make sure that the writing is neat. Make sure you are using a range of punctuation, that you're using cohesive devices as you go through. Think about some of those Alan Peat sentence types that you could try and get in. This is still going to be used in your portfolios of evidence for what you come out with in terms of your targets at the end of the year. So these need to be really good. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Make sure you take your time, don't rush. Just because we are giving you 3 days to get these fully, well, 2 days to get it written up and 1 day to then do a neat write-up of it, doesn't mean you can't send us drafts to look at, ask us questions, send bits of work in to get some feedback and check that it's okay. All that is absolutely fine. I'll still be doing that for you if you need me to. But take your time with these. Please don't rush. Please don't just scrabble to get it done as quickly as possible and then think, oh, I'll put my feet up and have 2 days off. I want these done to a really high quality. Okay. I'll speak to you with the big read tomorrow, because there are still big read activities Thursday and Friday, but there isn't any English videos. So I'll speak to you then for that. But for now, goodbye.